Before the video starts, I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time.
Is it possible that there are no coincidences?
Freedom comes through an understanding of how you're getting what you're getting.
You think a thought. A few seconds later, another thought like it will come. And a few seconds after that, another thought similar to that one will come. And so on and so on. And this is how a train of thought is built. You can build your trains of thought in a good feeling direction or not.
When you think about something that pleases you, by law of attraction, other thoughts that are similar to it will begin to come forth. When you think of something that displeases you, by law of attraction, other thoughts that are like it will begin to come forth, until you find yourself surrounded by a larger and larger, ever-growing larger thought.
When a thought arises, if I have a belief attached to that subject, that belief will come up with the thought. And that belief and that thought together creates emotion within me. And for me, I like to refer to emotion as energy in motion, emotion. So my emotion is an indicator of what energy I am projecting out into the universe. And whatever energy I am sending out is creating the reality around me.
The law of deliberate creating is described in this way. That which I give thought to, I begin to attract. That which I give thought to with emotion, I attract more quickly.
A key part of this is that you have to be able to believe what you're thinking about. Like, you have to believe it's possible. So, like, if I was going to say, I believe that I'm going to see a shooting star. Do I believe that's possible? Yeah, I believe that's very possible. So I'm not going to block it with disbelief, because the first step to seeing something manifest in my reality is believing that it's possible.
The balance of deliberate creating is two-sided, so to speak. On the one hand is the thought, and on the other hand is the belief or the allowing. And so when I have given thought to something, and now I am believing that it will be, now I am in the perfect position to receive the subject of my thought.
Everything is made of vibrational energy. And this is being proven through physics, and a lot of people are aware of this at this point in time, which is amazing and wonderful to me. I love it that this is a topic that people are talking about more and more, because having the realization that everything is made of vibrational energy, including my thoughts that I'm emitting, including my energy that I'm emitting, including my physicalness, everything in my reality made of this vibrational energy. Now, why that's so awesome to me is because that is part of how these thoughts turn into tangible things.
So the subatomic particles we see in nature, the quarks, the electrons, are nothing but musical notes on a tiny vibrating string. What is physics? Physics is nothing but the laws of harmony that you can write on vibrating strings. What is chemistry? Chemistry is nothing but the melodies you can play on interacting vibrating strings. We are nothing but cosmic music played out on vibrating strings and membranes, obeying the laws of physics, which is nothing but the laws of harmony of vibrating strings. What is the universe? The universe is a symphony of vibrating strings.
The first thing that you can recognize is a thought that occurs to you, because thoughts are manifestations. You're taking vibration and you are receiving these vibrations at an unconscious level and translating them into something that is meaningful to you. That's how vibrations turn to thoughts, and that's how thoughts turn to things. In other words, this is the evolution of all things, all thought. It's what creation is about. And you are the creator who is molding the clay with your focus. This vibration, whatever it is that you've got going on, is gaining momentum, is going to evolve. It's going to escalate. It's going to become more.
This is what I did at first to really get acquainted with this idea of thoughts turning to things. one day I took out a notepad and I just wrote down a list of things that were believable to me, and I focused on them each for just a few minutes. And then I said, okay, universe, if my thoughts really turn to things and my energy really turns to things, show me these things. One of the things on the list was a sunflower. I love sunflowers. They are my favorite flower. I love all flowers, but there's something about sunflowers that is just one of my most favorites. So I wrote down sunflowers. I do not live in a part of the country that has fields of sunflowers around me. So it's not very often that I see sunflowers out in nature. But I wrote down sunflowers because I just thought, it could come to me in a picture. It could come to me, as a decorative sunflower. It didn't have to come to me in nature. I was leaving it wide open for the universe to bring it into my reality in any way, shape, or form. But I focused on sunflowers, and I thought about it in an emotional way. Just thought about sunflowers and how beautiful they are to me. And I really just did it for a few minutes, not trying to force anything, because as soon as you add forcing into the equation, it just adds resistance. So it was like an easygoing, fun thing that I was doing. I wasn't trying to make it happen. I was just being playful with it. And sure enough, a couple days later, a friend of mine that I really had never been to their house before, but they were just an acquaintance of mine, a friend of mine that I was getting to know through other friends. We were chatting on the phone, and they invited me over. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and go hang out. I went over to this friend's house. I was not thinking about this list of things that I had written up previously at all. But I had kind of just forgotten about it. And I went over to my friend's house, and we went out to their backyard to sit on the patio. And first thing I noticed when I walked out onto the patio was they had sunflowers growing in their backyard. These sunflowers were real live sunflowers. They were like 6 feet tall, which was my first time ever seeing a real life sunflower growing, which might be strange to some of you, but I'm telling you, I just don't live in a part of the world where you see sunflowers a lot growing in nature. And I was like, wow, instantly. I was like, oh my gosh, the list I made, there's the sunflowers. And every single thing that I had put on the list came to me. Every single thing. Another thing I had put on the list, something really small, was that my lawnmower had broken. And it was summertime. And my lawn was growing so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get my lawn mowed? My lawnmower just broke. I really didn't want to call anybody and bother them about it. It's kind of my responsibility to take care of that. So I just put it on the list. I would like to see my lawn get mowed somehow by the end of the week. And lo and behold, there we go. My brother pops up at my house one day and mows my lawn for me while I was at work. I didn't even ask him to. I didn't even tell him anything about the list. He just had a thought in his mind to come mow my yard. And so that is just small examples of how I first started getting acquainted with my thoughts turning to things. And every single thing that I put on that list, there was like 5 things in total, actually did come to fruition within the next week or two after I made the list. Now, that's just a fun little playful way that I started in with this.
Esther and her friend heard a mother the other day trying to get her kids organized to get on the airplane. And she said to them, now we're going to get on, hocus pocus focus. And Esther thought, I like that. I'm taking that with me. Hocus pocus focus, because it does become magic when you focus. There's a power and a clarity in that.
You know what? Actually, as I say this, I am reminded of a quote in my mind. And the quote that I'm being reminded of is that it is as easy to create a castle as it is a button. Because actually, when we place something higher up on a pedestal and we think of it in a much grander, bigger way, it actually is adding resistance to it, because we're in our minds, we might be thinking that it's harder to obtain because we just think of it as so big.
It is just your personal perspective on the thing and how much you desire it that makes it feel bigger or smaller.
Both of them can be manifested in the same way with as much ease. It just depends on your belief and how much resistance you put on the manifestation.
How much resistance have you thrown on your trail? So how much are you blocking your view? Once you get tuned in, once you start loving yourself, once you're meditating and feel good, once life is really feeling good to you, once you're waking up and knowing that all is well, once you're looking around the world and seeing the beautiful things of it, you have almost no resistance in your path. But if you're all wadded up, like so many are, all twirled up in the rightness and the wrongness of things, blaming this one, blaming that one, mad at yourself about this and that, making comparisons, feeling jealous, not happy with where you are, being sort of irritated about where everybody else is too, if you're kind of all wadded up in all of this, then what's happening to you is you can't find the path of no resistance because you're not a vibrational match to that.
In my last video, I made a statement that the universe does not hear what you say. The universe hears how you feel. And I want to elaborate on that a little bit more because it is absolutely ties into thoughts turning to things. So the universe doesn't hear what I say. What I mean by that is I can yell no at something all day long. The universe doesn't hear me saying no to it. The universe knows that I'm giving attention to it. I'm giving energy to it. And that gives the indication to the universe, hey, you want more of that. Anything I give my energy and attention to is going to come back to me. It's not whether I say yes or no to it. It's, am I giving energy to it? Am I focusing on it? That is what is drawing things into my reality.
You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. Your thoughts are powerful, attractive magnets. They attract to themselves, and you attract them to you by giving thought to them.
I don't change my perspective on things in order to make things happen. I don't change my thoughts and the way I look at things. I don't pull the positivity from them in order to make anything happen. I do it so that I can feel better. If I go into things trying to make them happen, I'm adding resistance.
From 2001 to 2011.
I lived in a city environment. I lived in Gary, Indiana. I lived in Chicago Heights, Illinois. I lived in an area that was very crime-ridden, very dangerous. I got robbed. My home got robbed. My vehicle got robbed. I got pulled into a scenario where I was around a lot of addiction, and there was a lot of people that I knew that went to jail due to addiction, that died from overdose. I had friends that were murdered because of drugs. Someone walked into their house and shot them point blank in the head and killed them over drugs. And all of this, I had to realize that my energy was a match to this, or else I would not have been able to observe it. And why was my energy a match to it? Not because I was a horrible person, not because I was doing anything wrong necessarily, but because I was creating by default. Because at the time, I didn't know that my thoughts turned to things. I didn't know that what I was feeling emotionally was actually energy in motion. I didn't know that I was creating my reality. But once I became aware that I was creating my reality and I was doing it energetically, and that everything is made of energy, and the energy I send out is then transferring into physical manifestation to things that I can tangibly touch and feel and see and taste and everything else we can do with our physical body, right? When I realized that, I said, okay, I am going to go inward because I don't want to focus on all that's going on around me because it doesn't feel good. And it was literally at the point where either I figure out a way to feel better no matter where I'm standing, or this is going to take me over. And I'm not being dramatic. I'm going to be straightforward with you. I was on the verge of death. If I would not have realized this when I did, I would not be alive today. I truly believe that. That is how much this concept of thoughts turning to things has affected my life.
When you feel lonely, you attract more loneliness. When you feel poor, you attract more poverty. When you feel sick, you attract more sickness. When you feel unhappy, you attract more unhappiness. The law of attraction is most understood when you see yourself as a magnet getting more and more of the way you feel.
My energy was a match to that based on me observing what I was seeing and focusing on what I was observing, which was keeping me in a negative energy state. And that's why I kept manifesting and kept seeing these same things around me that were horrible. Now, that actually became something that really empowered me, because I realized that if I can promote energy and send out energy that doesn't feel good and it manifests in my life, then I can also send out energy that does feel good and see that manifest in my life.
You notice that when you wake up in the morning feeling good, you have a happier day, where when you begin the day with a fight with someone, that you find your day negative in many regards. That is your awareness of law of attraction.
When I am in a better feeling energy state, more options opened up to me. More doorways to go through opened up to me, and things fell into place. I found myself here in this beautiful environment that I adore.
There always is a better feeling choice every single time. And that if you will try a little bit to take that better feeling choice, before you know it, your life will have smoothed out, and you will be very clear about what your path of least resistance is.
I realized that I needed to get my energy and my vibration in a frequency that felt better. And so I took time to soothe myself, do things that I enjoyed, eliminate certain things from my life that were holding me in that negative energy state in order to be healthier and make better decisions from a better feeling energy state. So I soothed myself. I got myself into a better feeling state emotionally and energetically. And then what happened was I would get impulses and inspirations to go here, do this, go here, do that, talk to this person, talk to that person. And through these different impulses and inspirations that I was getting, little by little, the pieces and the parts of the puzzle started to fall into place.
Your inner being, whatever you want to call that source energy part of you, knows where you stand right now in relationship to everything you want, and knows the path to it. It's a path that always feels better.
When I followed those impulses and those inspirations, one piece of the puzzle would land here, then another here, and things just started to unfold in ways that I could have never imagined.
You have to figure out how to give more attention to your desire than to the current reality that is causing you to doubt it. Because whatever you give your attention to is activated within you. You are vibrational. Most don't really know that. You're so good at translating vibration. But you are vibrational beings, and what you give your attention to is vibrational in nature also. And then law of attraction puts those things together. If you are facing reality, there's some situation and it's happening often in your life experience. It's a sort of theme. The reason that it is because you keep looking at the theme, talking about it, thinking about it, worrying about it, or you doubt it. What we're saying is you focus on something that is contrary to what you want and to who you really are.
And there were some things in life that I just wasn't able to feel better about right away or see a better perspective on. And that's completely okay. Like I said, you can redirect your thought. That's what I chose to do, was redirect my thought until I could get stable within that energy that felt good, and I was really had my footing in that energy that felt good. And then I would go back and examine these things that, didn't quite feel that great. or that just simply felt bad. And I would look at them through that different perspective. And that different perspective that I held when I was feeling good would shine a light on the situation and show me things that really were able to be a benefit to me that came out of those contrasting experiences. So no matter what condition I've been in life, I have learned over time that I can redirect my thoughts onto something that feels better, or I can bridge the gap on the beliefs, meaning I can find a better way to look at it, a better feeling way to look at it.
So let's say you went to bed, fell asleep, and in doing so, you stop all momentum. You do. When you sleep, all momentum stops. So you wake in the morning, and right away, you have some choices. You can jump right into the day, into maybe worrisome thoughts that you carried over from yesterday, or you can consciously and deliberately take an easier path. You might choose to get up and look out into the beautiful day. You might choose to look for something to appreciate.
Once I realized that everything is possible, and I believed that it was possible, and I intentionally chose what energy I was giving to the situation, the universe started showing me different doorways to go through. Different pieces of the puzzle started to land, and it unfolded in a beautiful way. So I hope that I was able to convey myself and my intentions and my information on this topic clearly. If I left anything up in the air that you have questions about, let me know. I will be in the comments reading whatever you leave for me. I really enjoy the open-minded discussions, and I really do enjoy hearing other people's perspectives, whether or not they're the same as mine or not. Like, you could have a completely different perspective on life and share it with me in the comments, and I'm very open to hearing what you have to say. I believe all perspectives are valid, and everything in life is an opportunity to choose. That's what I see everything as, an opportunity to choose. Life is like a buffet. I choose what I prefer, I fill my plate with that, and I leave the rest for someone else who may prefer that. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know, hit me up. If you want to see future videos from me, please feel free to subscribe. I am going to be making videos on a more regular basis each week from here on out, as much as I can. Here in the past couple months, if you've noticed, I have not been putting out videos every single week. There's just been a lot I've been contemplating, and a lot I've been adjusting to. I had a big transformation in my energy a couple months ago, and I've just been kind of gaining my footing and bracing myself in this new energy that I'm feeling. And I want to talk more about that in future videos. Like I said, I'm going to stop here for now. I just love talking with you guys, and I appreciate you so much. Like, I can't put it into words how much the communication I've had with you all means to me. Thank you for being here. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you good vibes, and I'm hoping that you are having good days. Turn those thoughts into things that you prefer. You are a powerful creator, and I hope that you can realize that.